Hello everybody, welcome back to the show. Thank you very much for tuning in to Ray Johnson Radio Podcast. Sebelum kita mulai podcast hari ini, gue mau update sedikit soal Jakarta Hope Hospitality Peduli. Charity program yang dibuat dari teman-teman kita di bar yang bekerja industri F&B dan juga diperuntukkan untuk teman-teman kita di industri F&B yang terdampak pandemi ini. Kita udah bikin Instagram @JackHopeOfficial. Jadi kalian bisa lihat ke sana for further updates. Kita akan terus tampung donasi yang kita terima dan akan disalurkan melalui sembako ataupun cash bagi orang yang sangat membutuhkan. Every donation you donate, every single dime that you give itu akan sangat berarti buat teman-teman kita yang membutuhkan. Oke. Episode kita kali ini, kita akan ngobrol bareng lagi dengan Chef Will Goldfarb. Gue senang bisa ngobrol lagi dengan one of the best chef di Indonesia. Dan juga kita akan ngomongin tentang Room for Dessert Academy Volume 2. Jadi, kelas masak di Room for Dessert langsung sama Chef Will Goldfarb sendiri. Ini kelas bukan online class, jadi kalian harus ke sana, ke Ubud, untuk belajar langsung dengan tim dari Room for Dessert. Ini award-winning restoran ya, jadi gak sembarangan kalian bisa dapetin kesempatan seperti ini. Langsung cek sosial media mereka for further updates, kelasnya kapan, udah tinggal berapa, karena gue yakin cepet banget fullnya kelas-kelas seperti ini. Langsung ke Room for Dessert Instagram dan sosial media mereka, bisa juga ke Will Goldfarb punya Instagram. Okay, without further ado, please welcome Chef Will Goldfarb. Enjoy the show. The run of PPKM is crazy now. They starting to loosen up the rules. Mm-hmm. But we still cannot dine indoors. At all, yeah.
Wow.
How about in Bali? Yeah?
Indoors you can. Out, but most of our guests are outdoors anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Is the restaurant closed now? Where are you?
No, I'm in the restaurant dining room.
Okay.
It opens at 5.
All right. And how's business lately?
Since the last lockdown, terrible. Yeah, of course, terrible.
Oh man.
Cannot complain. It is what it is. Listen, we had an amazing June since I last spoke to you. July was crazy. We were totally closed. August, we've been open. Independence Week was really good. A lot of, again, great turnout from our friends in Jakarta. And then otherwise, it's quite quiet.
Okay.
But we're enjoying. The kids are all here and everybody cooking their hearts out. So life is good. Getting ready for the new academy. Working on our new ingredients line. So many things to do here.
Yeah, I want to ask you something. How did you keep the fire burning in times like this? Because a lot of our listeners are like constantly message me like it's crazy, man. It's really hard for restaurants right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible, frankly. I think the important thing is just to say, we know it's impossible, so we don't need to worry about why it's impossible or how it's impossible. We just need to, make the best of it and say we cook our way through it because we know we're not going to have any revenue, any money, really not enough to take care of the staff. So how do we stay focused? And the hardest thing for a chef is, when there's no one there, what are you really doing? Who are you cooking for? So for us, the way around that was the meals, just cooking for our staff, remind us like the simple joy of cooking. Even today, our lunch is like absolutely so beautiful, chicken legs and potatoes and salad, and just giving the joy to cook for each other. Obviously for the guests that are coming here, even though it's fewer, it's a lot of focus. If you come here and you have almost the restaurant to yourself, we want to make sure you feel incredibly welcome and spoiled by us. We're working on our new menu, which is going to come out in November. We may push it to January. So we're really excited about all the new direction we're going in the garden. In terms of the cooking side, we are cooking again a lot for the orphanage, our friends at the orphanage as well as for our friends who are cleaning plastics from the river here. So we're really busy, actually. We have our we have our new garden space behind the restaurant, which is about 18 ara again.
Okay.
So 1,800 square meters we've been planting in the last 8 weeks, just going more to our sustainability program and trying to grow more of what we need to cook. And it's incredible. It's just about 100 meters behind the restaurant. That's kept us super busy. And we have the academy in a week. So it's been, honestly, like for us, when we are almost close, we are incredibly busy.
Yeah, that's good. At least keeping busy keeps you sane.
Well, but that's, you asked what I would say to anyone who's struggling. I would just say, number one is keep busy. Keep busy. Don't be negative. I mean, it's, when you're a chef or a restaurant owner and you walk into an empty dining room, it's kind of like you die a little bit,
Yes.
And you lose purpose and all these things that you really just have to start questioning. So from my experience, it's better not to question those things. You just deny. But also, look, let's be honest, there are things that have to change. I mean, in this industry, we know that there are a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So why suffer to rebuild a model that doesn't work, right? So for us, for example, it's really important to have a model that's accessible regardless of gender, color, age, wealth. Like that's really important for us to be inclusive, right? To not for the sake of inclusivity, because it doesn't mean anything, but because we think that everyone deserves access. So now is a really good time, again, to put your money where your mouth is and say, well, I mean, access is about training and opportunity. So what better time to work on that than when you're closed? Why build a model that's excluding and then you return to things are going well and you have the same broken model as before? So you can focus by making sure your staff feel good about themselves, feel healthy, feel welcome feel well physically. Like right now we are in a pandemic, right? So the most important thing is our staff are healthy. Like this is very fundamental. This is not about your job. This is about your life.
Yeah.
So in that way, we are really excited and we're really motivated, right? Because we want to make sure our staff are healthy and we want to make sure they are happy. And those things go together by having a great place to work and, making sure our staff understand how much they are valued, how important they are to us. I mean, that's really important. I think that's the best thing you can do in this time is make sure your staff know how important they are to you.
And I'm always curious, like what starts you to think about those problems in the first place and try and decide that you're trying to fix it? Maybe because everybody already know that you are a proponent of, like you said, giving opportunity, giving access. You always train, you prefer to have a younger staff, and you communicate the sustainability and everything like that. But when does it start?
I'm not sure. I think in the fundamental way, a lot of it is always, we are always shaped a lot by our families and our parents. And I know for my family, it was always really important to take care of people. That was actually most of the work that my parents did on different sides of nonprofit work or yayasan work, foundation work. So I don't know. I think the idea that everyone deserves a chance is something that was from when I was a kid. I mean, I think that I had a lot of opportunity that not everybody else did. But my father, for example, worked with developmental disabilities. Used to be known as mental retardation, evolved into developmental disabilities. And the beginning of his career started with trying to end the institutionalization of kids, and it really evolved a lot. But again, you have a lot of people who are kind of considered by society to be cast away, right? Cast off, or not a value, right? Because for one reason or another, they don't conform to something. No, maybe appearance, maybe the way that they communicate, maybe the way that they learn. But that never existed in our house. The idea was that it's even more important than to make sure that you're able to find a system that values the contribution of everybody. And I don't know, I think that's, if I have to say where it really started, I mean, I think that's how I grew up.
How do you think the situation right now compared when you first moved to Bali?
Right now, I mean, you mean in terms of work or in
terms
of...
in terms of the part where you give opportunities to a lot of young chefs, you know, because I get also a lot of messages that a chef, he's a cook from somewhere, and he never went to cooking school, but he wants to work, for example, like your restaurant, but he didn't have the confidence to even send his or her CV, you know?
Well, I can tell you here, the only thing that's necessary to survive here is a good personality. So there's no, we are not full of fancy CVs here. I think for look, in terms of Bali hasn't grown a lot, Indonesia has grown a lot in the past 10 years. I think there has always been a lot of talent here, and I'm happy to speak about it at length all the time. I think the point that you just made is really important, which is you maybe even have the talent, you maybe even have the experience, and still maybe you're missing the confidence. So I think that's a big problem, frankly. And I think that's evolving, and people are developing more and more confidence. But it's important. I think someone should be able to speak, say that they are believe in themselves, and that's one of the things we work on a lot with our team, is just to have the confidence to say you believe in yourself. I mean, that's what this is about. That's much more important than an ice cream. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, and how's the last Room for Dessert Academy program, the first one? Super good. Yeah, full. Really great. We had amazing group of students. We had a lot of professionals and semi-professionals from Jakarta, also from Bandung, and from Bali. It really was amazing experience for us. We learned a lot too. What did you learn? Well, how to communicate better. Do you enjoy teaching? Very much. Very much. So what's can you paint us a picture for someone who may be interested but haven't joined the class yet? What are they going to be doing during this program? Yeah, of course. I mean, I think for this one, we have 1 spot or 2 spots for the first week and 1 for the second and third. And maybe the 4th week is on waitlist for 2022. Oh my God. but the really popular. The classes are very small. We wanted to make sure that if the first thing that we wanted to make sure is if you come to the Room for Dessert Academy, you are doing hands-on learning. You're not sitting in a classroom. So the classes are small enough that everyone is touching everything and making every recipe themselves. The second thing that we did is try to break it into segments that would be interesting to people, but also things that made sense to go together. Ice creams and ices, creams and mousses, sauces and fruits and jellies and jams, cakes and doughs and breads, and then sort of garnishes and putting desserts together. So each week has a focus. The first week, for example, with ice cream is probably my favorite. And each week we build up to finishing a plated dessert on Friday. So we have a step-by-step of a type of techniques for the week. So people can really get comfortable with a skill and do not just one variation, but one ice cream, a flavored ice cream, a sorbet, a flavored sorbet, another thing. And then they can build up over 4 days to where the 5th day they make the 4th day they make a plated dessert. Okay. And so we do one of our signature desserts here in the class. So in 4 weeks, you'll learn 4 of our signature desserts, and you'll do, I think the recipes, the last time I counted, was more than 100. Wow. But it's really intense, but also fun. I mean, we are not pretending to be something we are not. We are here in Bali. It's beautiful. We cook outside in the morning. We come inside in the afternoon when it's hot. And on every Friday, we do a trip to our suppliers around Bali. So for people to see how salt is made, how sugar is made, how chocolate is made. And again, these are all things that are happening here in Bali and Indonesia that the rest of the world is desperate to have these things. And sometimes even here, we don't appreciate how lucky we are to have them. So I think that goes to when we talk about having confidence, and having confidence in your quality of ingredients is the first part of that.
What is like for you when you move here to Bali and finding those ingredients?
Well, I mean, I've been working with, to be fair, that for reasons, let's say, both positive and negative, those ingredients have been made available to the world for hundreds of years. I think, and I mean, there are a lot of problems with that, but at the same time, it means that those ingredients have been seducing people around the world for centuries, right? So most people that work with chocolate do not live near a chocolate plantation.
Of course.
Most people who cook with sugar do not live near a sugar plantation. So I think it's really important to be respectful of the process. And I think if you can get inspired by an ingredient like chocolate, for example, and then it encourages you to go to the source, for me, that's like a good kind of introduction to the ingredient. We are not trying to take it and misappropriate it. We're trying to be respectful of the location here in Bali. So for example, we will go to the actual plantation that grows the beans that we use, go to the factory, go through the whole chocolate making process ourselves, from winnowing the beans by hand, to grinding, to tempering, to spreading the bars. It's really integral part of what we do. And I think it's really, when I saw that here, I think I knew that instinctively before I moved here. Okay, I can work with coconut, coffee, chocolate, palm sugar, rosella, all these amazing things. But I don't think I appreciated how nice it would be to have them all within 1 hour of the restaurant. And then also now to be able to grow, right? To grow our own rosella, to have our own coconut palm trees. It's pretty spectacular. And I think Bali and Indonesia should be very proud that they have access to these things that are some of the best in the world.
Yeah, it's it's quite funny that you're not even like Indonesian, but you always use Indonesian local, but many of the local chefs, especially in Jakarta, they prefer not to cook Indonesian, right?
So far, but that's changing. I think you're seeing that changing. In the last 10 years, that's changed a lot. I'm sure at August, it's not going to be any ingredients imported, right? And 10 years ago, that's not possible.
No way.
So I think if you ask how things have evolved, that's the most significant way. You have a lot of young people here who travel, they know what's right, and they want to cook properly with what's here. But also, the world has evolved too. It's not only Indonesia. I mean, a lot of regions in the world didn't have this like pride in their cuisine. I think, El Bulli and Noma contributed a lot to that, where you say, no, we are from Catalonia, we are from Denmark. Okay, Catalonia is a few million people, right? Denmark is 1 million to a couple of and people are saying, no, this is a tradition that's worth understanding. And now people know, okay, about from Virgilio in Central, they know about the things that grow at different heights of the mountain. From Borago, from all these chefs, or even from someone like Darren, in Malaysia, you have all these chefs who are saying, no, my history is worth telling. And I think that's not only Indonesia, that's most of the world. It used to just be France, Italy, Spain. I think you saw even in a lot of worlds with a really rich culinary history, even in China, in Middle East. I think it took people time to get over the hump to focus again on local things and traditional things being great. Because I think people were very excited with transportation and like being able to access these things. I mean, to be local in New York in the 60s, 70s, 80s meant to be French, so it's not only, that's a global thing where that all of a sudden people are fascinated by their local terroir. That's been happening for the last 30 years. But in some ways, I think Bali probably is a few years ahead of Indonesia, but mostly because it's smaller. There's a lot more money here per capita in terms of the restaurants.
Yeah.
And there's this really dynamic. It's very international. So in a way, I think now you're seeing in Jakarta the kind of things you saw in Bali maybe 10 years ago. But probably a little
exactly.
bit, maybe five, let's say, to be because I think still you don't have what I would like to see here is like, for example, August. What I like is it's all Indonesian owned, not just Indonesian chef, but the whole, right? So I think in Bali it would be nice also to have this generation of restaurants should be Balinese owned, Balinese chef, like without without me in the middle. It should go direct to the source.
Yeah, a lot. I have a couple of friends that are young chefs that are really trying to do that. But the one topic that we talk about with my friends in this podcast, I want to ask it to you. Do you feel there's a gap between local and expat chefs in Bali?
No, just on paper.
Yeah. Oh,
just in the branding. Just in the branding.
Okay. Oh, that's great then.
I don't think the issue is there. I think there might be a confidence gap, or I think it's a big picture issue. I think it always takes time. I'm not worried. I don't know. My team is all Balinese and Indonesian, so I don't have a gap here.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing I can say. We don't have any gap. I mean, I think that's the right way to start is. Always is just to do what you say, not to make, like, for us, there's no gap. So if there's no gap for us, then I don't see why there should be for anybody else.
Exactly. All right, Chef, I want to talk about the Dharma Bus program.
Sure.
It's still going on?
Yeah, we've been using a little slightly different language lately. We've sort of put it under the umbrella of our Room for Community, because we're building a community together. So we've sort of folded it in. The meals program is still going. We've done more than 20,000 meals, and we're about to do a funding site so we can scale it up again.
Wow.
Keep in mind, we've done probably for our staff 50,000 meals in that time. So for a place our size, it's pretty significant, but we would like to be doing 10,000 meals a day. But for that, we'll need help of probably a corporate underwriter so that we can scale it up. But for me, there are a lot of hungry people here. They're going to keep being hungry. And that's our main focus in our Room for Community family of initiative, not just our sustainability in terms of our operation and our community, but also the well-being of everybody. Because at the end of the day, if you're not sustainable, if your community is not healthy, and you don't have food.
Yeah, crazy. How long can like restaurants in Bali hold on, Chef, if it continues like this?
I don't think there's a good answer for that, unfortunately, because I mean, realistically, it's impossible to operate when you're closed, let alone that it's unpredictable when you're closed. But I don't like to think about it that way. I think always we've planned on 2022. So I'm hoping that, I mean, if you ask me again in a year and we're in the same position, I think maybe, who knows?
Oh, yeah.
I hope by 2022 we have some change. But again, I want to be clear that for us personally at Room for Dessert, we can survive with just Indonesian guests. That's no problem. Yeah. But we cannot survive if Indonesian travel is also blocked.
Yeah.
For us, we don't need to be open internationally, although it will be a bonus. For us, with Indonesia open, we are fine. We have great clients from Jakarta, and you know what? It's nice to have a full dining room, all Indonesian guests. So I think we should be grateful for that. When that's also not available to us, I cannot lie. I mean, it's of course almost impossible. So I think people have to make a decision, and I don't know what that decision is. But all I can say is, I know for us, we try to take care of people when things are good and when they are bad, not only when they are good.
Yes, exactly. And the Indonesian people who goes there, how do they feel about the food you're serving? Maybe.
I mean, I hope they love it. The guests that I talked to seem to love it. In June, we were seating 3 seatings a day. of our friends from Jakarta, from Bandung, from Medan, from all over.
Yeah, the new menu, right, from the casting spells. It looks
right.
amazing.
That's right. Well, I think we're going to hold that one a bit longer because no one is getting to eat it, with the island closing. So I think it's really important for us to share that. And we did some more tasting on the new menu today, but I really want more people to try the Casting Spells menu. I think one of the things that our Indonesian guests appreciate is that we respect the ingredients, not just the ingredients, but the way that they taste and what they mean. So, and in one sense, we talked about it last week with one moment. Yeah, sorry, one second.
No problem, Chef.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure no sound is coming in the background.
Sorry.
Yeah. In one sense, I think it's really important that when we take like Indonesian tradition, we make it in a room for dessert way, which means that our, let's say, other guests can appreciate it in one way, and our Indonesian guests can see something traditional in a new way. Yeah. And then the reverse is also true. We can take something that's traditionally from somewhere else and then interpret it through an Indonesian lens. And so all of a sudden, again, both groups can appreciate it. That's what we work really hard to do here, to make sure that our things have a spirit of where we are, using local ingredient, but also using things that other people can relate to. So if we do a grass jelly, I mean, we still do grass jelly by hand. I mean, we don't like. So, but for guests outside of Indonesia, that's a bit strange. So maybe the presentation is a bit different. And the other way around, in terms of like, there are a lot of different things that we use here with another method. I don't know, creme brulee using local vanilla would be the simplest example, or desserts using soursop and blinjo and cocoa paste and all the spices. But I think that people understand how much we appreciate the place that we are. Yeah. And I think that they are proud to see that those are the things we celebrate here.
Yeah, and how does a dish comes up to your mind? Like, do you still make the majority of the dish in the menu? Do you still create the concept and tell your staff to do the development?
We work together with Grace, who's our chef, Vivi, our pastry team as well. We like everyone involved with the creation of every dish. I help to set the themes. I help to set the outline and the refinement, but as many ideas as they can have, they're welcome. So there's no limit. If they deliver a finished dish, then a finished menu. I mean, that's really the way we go, right? You finish a technique, then you start to work on a dish. You finish a dish, you start to work on a menu. By the time you can do a menu, then it's time to work on a restaurant.
Okay. Wise words. Listen up, guys, from Chef Will Goldfarb. Well, Chef, when does the second Room for Dessert Academy will start?
It will start on Monday, September 6th.
Okay.
You can find all the info on our Instagram, including a link to a questionnaire for registration, or you can personally message me and I will make sure you get what you need about it.
Okay, guys. So if you're interested in joining the class, just message Will Goldfarb. I will put the description in the Instagram of Room for Dessert.
Perfect.
And Chef Will Goldfarb in the description below. Chef, thank you very much for your time. I know you have a busy day.
I'm sure we will.
And I hope you much success and I hope things will get better in Bali.
Of course. And that's the beautiful thing. When you're at the bottom, it has to go up.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, thank you very much again for listening to our podcast today. Don't forget to subscribe at Ray Jensen Radio YouTube channel. Follow us also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Instagram. Of course, follow Instagram Room for Dessert for further updates. And of course, Chef Will Goldfarb. Thanks again, Chef. We'll see you next time.
Such a pleasure to be back on your show. I can't wait to have more news to share with you.
Yeah. I'll see you soon then, Chef.
Thank you. Take care. Have a great day.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.